we talked about this in the past, how Hasbro is going to be entering a very deep partnership with China and a lot of their giant retailers because of the huge pull of Chinese interest in the Transformers brand. We aired our grievances and worries how, because that's now going to slowly become a larger market and a large amount of the buying power, that it might influence a lot of Hasbro's decisions when it comes to what's going to be released there as opposed to here. And here's really kind of our first example of that. In that of this here. So we have Jingdong, which is apparently a retailer in China, very big retailer, and they're going to get their first ever retailer exclusive. It's called the Jingdong, or JD exclusive, known as the JD Red Knight. And what that is really is they took the Transformers Age of Extinction Voyager class Galvatron toy, which Age of Extinction, regardless of what people think about the movie, did very well in China. So there's already a tie of popularity with that mold and that design and that character. And they retooled it quite a bit into this, red, Autobot looking kind of character. And he has like JD molded onto the chest and stuff. Now I picked up this mold from the TFCon charity auction. Someone donated it, and I picked it up for a good $5, which made me very happy. And this was an okay mold. Nothing like, again, that's part of the reason why I went out of my way to pick it up at the charity auction, because it wasn't a $29.99 mold, but it was definitely a $5 mold. So.
I would assume with the original mold, the chest area has been heavily retooled, because if I remember right, Galvatron had a big giant gaping. Yeah.
Yes, he had
hole
the big,
in his stomach.
The big hole for the spark, if you will, and the transformium and all of that stuff and everything. So essentially, it's a heavily remolded toy of the original, and it's going to be a retailer there in China. They already have the box. They already have the bio on the back says, when the Autobots need backup, this bot delivers. That's all.
Which is interesting because it's in English.
Yeah, well, a lot of times in the past, when it came to Transformer stuff that was made for the Chinese market per se, they used English names and English name conventions. I know that when in the past, to give an example, go back a little bit, MP9 Rodimus, first time we got a Rodimus Prime masterpiece, China had a few little exclusives with that. They had like a coin. They had like the coin that we own. We always have that coin that's included and stuff.
Yeah.
We had like a bag, a display box, all this stuff. All of that stuff was done with the Anglophone Western name convention, aka like instead of calling it Rodimus Convoy, it was called Rodimus Prime.
Well, I think Anglophone is like specifically a Canadian term, so you might as well just say English to not confuse everybody.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so it's just pretty. This is pretty interesting, and it wasn't a terrible mold. So it's pretty cool that China's getting something like this. How we're going to be able to get it, who knows? I do not, again, because this is going to be a JD retailer exclusive, that means that specific store is going to be having that exclusively, and I don't imagine this popping up in Walmart anytime soon in the States or Toys R Us here in Canada or anything.
Either watch winners or someone's going to come back with a case of them during any convention or something. Because I remember a while back when we had the, what was it? Yeah, I think it was the wheelies.
The Aveo Swerve you're talking about?
Not the Aveo Swerves, but specifically the wheelies that were remolded from the Jazz.
The GDA series.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like a bunch of people at conventions had them for sale.
Well, the funny thing is with that was supposed to be an Asia exclusive, and those showed up all over Toys R Us Canada in the more English-speaking regions. Quebec didn't get them. Again, because of the packaging.
Well, but didn't the packaging also have like either some kind of...
it had Chinese on it.
It had either Chinese or hiragana or the simpler one. I can't remember the name.
Katakana.
Yeah, it was like that, and I was like, "What?"
Well, yeah, and again, the funny thing is that like that was something that was not a Toys R Us exclusive. It was specifically made for the Asian market. Yet somehow Toys R Us of Canada ended up with the whole line of these, and well, specifically the English-speaking regions of Canada. So it was just who knows? Who knows? You are right. One thing to give people hope, at least for convention goers, it says here that JD Red Knight is going to be available in China the beginning of October 2018. TFCon TFCon USA is the end of October 2018. So assuming that this stuff launches the first week of October, that's a good 3 to 4 months that some of the third-party guys that come from China that come to TFCon could pick up a few of these and bring them to the show and then throw them on their table and make some coins. So if you're someone that's looking to get these and you're coming to TFCon Chicago next month, this is something that before you like go through a third-party middleman guy and pay big money, you might be able to find this in person here. I'm not making promises, but just by the amount of gap, number one, the gap of time between when this comes out and when TFCon shows up, and the fact that I know that there's a lot of Chinese guys coming from China that are going to be there that have dealer tables, I'm going to roll the dice and say there's a chance somebody's going to be selling this. So if you're looking to pick this up and you're going to be at TFCon next month, October, 28th, I think it is, to the 30th, definitely, I don't even know the date for our own convention, eh? Aren't I terrible? But definitely, probably that would be your best bet. If not, I'm pretty sure on eBay there'll be so many guys selling this. But I mean, it looks cool. Wasn't a terrible mold, and it's an Autobot repaint of the mold, so a red truck that is an Optimus is always welcome.